Today, we're going to take a look at the Amish's liking for muzzleloaders, traditional firearms that reflect their values of simplicity, craftsmanship, and self-reliance. From simple and beginner-friendly designs to the most advanced, customizable, and durable top-tier options, we've got it all covered. So stick around, you won't want to miss this. Most of us in modern settings think that we need a weapon that's as quick, effective, and deadly as possible. And for the most part, we'd agree with you. For home defense, a shotgun or pistol is best. For deer hunting, a rifle's where you need to look. Whether it's automatic or semi-automatic doesn't really matter. What does matter is you'll always need a steady supplier for your ammunition, oil to service it, and specialists to repair them. Your weapon is only good for as long as the world around it is running well enough for its upkeep. That's why the Amish, and any serious prepper for that matter, usually has a weapon at hand that's less reliant on modern systems to be working for it to operate properly. Make no mistake, if the world does go to hell tomorrow, your AR-15 is going to give you a good few months, maybe even a few years if you look after it and have an arsenal's worth of ammunition stored. But what happens when you can't buy any ammunition anymore? No matter how much you've stockpiled in your basement, it's going to run out eventually. That's why it's important to master these old-timey weapons. They're going to be the ones left standing when the world descends into chaos. The super conservative Amish communities that are dedicated to truly being self-sufficient prefer the muzzleloaders for this very reason. So if you're interested in not being reliant on the grid, you should at least learn the basics of muzzleloaders, how they work, and how to produce the materials needed for them to function. Firing any muzzleloader is a 5-step process because all of the components are separate. Unlike modern rifles, there's no cartridge or magazine. Everything is inserted into the muzzle. First, the gunpowder is poured into the snout. Then the slug or bullet is dropped in after the powder. Then you just pack the lot down, place the primer in the breech, and only after all of that do you get to pull the trigger. It sounds awfully complicated, but when you really think about it, the Amish are phenomenal hunters because of these extra steps. If you're going to take this much time to load a firearm, you're going to make damn well sure that that round you fire is going to land true. You've only got one shot. If you miss, that deer's not going to be on your plate tonight. So it forces you to take more time, be more patient, and line up a shot like a responsible hunter should. Then we get back to that first point of longevity. The great thing about a muzzleloader is that you can produce your own ammunition when the shops close down. Essentially, gunpowder is just sulfur, charcoal, and potassium nitrate. That's saltpeter, if you were wondering. All of these materials can be mined with labor alone if it really comes to that. So the source of your ammunition doesn't have to run out if you're going to start society from scratch again. Lead balls and slugs aren't that hard to make either. All you need is a fire, some lead, and a mold to get the job done. And then there's the best thing about muzzleloaders. They don't need a license for you to carry them. As long as the rifle uses black powder as a propellant and it hasn't had any modifications to its breech block, barrel, or bolt, you get to carry it without any legal red tape. Look, you still need to check your state's laws because they're not all the same. But for the most part, muzzleloaders make it possible for you to avoid licenses completely, especially if they're antiques or showpieces. So let's have a look at some of the muzzleloaders out there that are worth your time. And don't worry, we're not going to be looking at any Civil War relics here today. To this day, we're still producing brand new muzzleloaders. And in many ways, the newer versions are even better than the original ones because now we've got scopes and gadgets. That is, if you even want them. I know the Amish wouldn't, but since you're on YouTube right now, I'm gonna venture a guess that you're not Amish. But wanna know what the Amish would do if they were on YouTube? I think they probably grab that muzzleloader, push the computer mouse with the tip of the barrel until the cursor is on that subscribe button, and then look down those iron sights aiming for the left click button before firing around, smashing that subscribe button, and then maybe in about 5 minutes, they'd reload and also like the video. Disclaimer, that was a joke. We were joking. Please do not shoot your computer mouse with a muzzleloader as it's been shown to decrease the longevity of your mouse and you as well. And without further ado, here's the list. Number 1. The CVA Acura MRX. This is the kind of unit that you get when you're just starting out, but you still want a good quality weapon that's capable of bringing down a buck and can do so for many years. Even though it's one of the smaller units on our list, it's still perfectly capable of handling larger game like elk. CVA rifles are known for their dead accuracy. You really can't go wrong with the tuning and the balance here. That's why we have 2 CVA models on our list today. The Acura comes with a scope and a sling. though you're welcome to get the standard Akira without it if you're confident that you won't need it. It's made of corrosion-resistant metal, so extended hunting trips are definitely in the cards for you. And in all ways, it loads and operates like the original muzzleloaders of old do. The Akira is simple, to the point, accurate, and perfect for both the novice and the expert. She is a great unit to get you started with. Our only points against the Akira is the very light trigger mechanism, so keep an eye on that. The Akira also happens to be one of the most recommended muzzleloaders according to reviews and expert opinions, coupled with the fact that she's very reasonably priced, clocking in at around $600 a piece. Number 2. CVA Paramount Rifle. The CVA Paramount is a little on the modern side. Given that it uses nitrate sticks and comes with a bunch of attachments, it's not exactly the standard, no license needed kind of model that we've been placing stress on. But that doesn't mean you can't have some fun, now does it? CVA is known for making modern muzzleloaders with all of the bells and whistles that enthusiasts could wish for. It comes in 40 to 45 caliber and gives you 300 plus yards in the long range. So this is for the serious hunter who wants the most distance in the field. The Paramount rifle from CVA will be our most effective, balanced, and accurate large game rifle on this list. But we place it on the lower end just because it's more on the modern side and it will require a license and a higher price tag. It rings in at about $1,800 for the standard package. So if you're an old hat with these kinds of guns and you feel like making an upgrade, the Paramount's a really good option for you. Before we get to number 3, just gotta take a quick second to thank our viewers for tuning in every week. You are the reason that we can bring you human-produced videos geared toward your requests. So like, subscribe, and don't be afraid to chip in the comments. We promise you all of your suggestions and questions are read and put on the docket for future videos. Alright, and here's number 3. Tradition's Pursuit XT. The Pursuit XT is our favorite middleman option of the lot. It combines the fully manual operation of the old models with modern engineering and safety to create the best unit possible while still being at a reasonable price, standing at $500 give or take. Yes, the cleaning and loading takes time as it would with a standard model, so your maintenance will be more. But honestly, we don't really mind that at all. If you're not willing to clean and store your weapons properly, you shouldn't own a gun anyway. With a manual cocking hammer added to your standard safety mechanism, it's probably the safest rifle you're ever going to use in your entire life, no matter what kind you get. It's accurate for up to 200 yards, so not the absolute longest range out there, but it's still not too shabby. And at that range, you can cover anything from deer to black bears. Number 4. 54 cal Investarm Deerstalker Percussion Ignition IA5114. That name is a muzzleful. Let's move over towards the more standard units, the ones that most of us are here to see, and the kind that our Amish friends are most likely to use as well. The Deerstalker is by no means a new model, it's been around for years, but it keeps topping out the top of muzzleloader lists, no matter who you ask, and we are definitely a part of that fan club. It's by far our favorite model of all our options here today. It comes in 45, 50, and 54 caliber, and it also gives you the dual option of using lead balls and the traditional conical bullet. It's also not too finicky about using alternative ignition powders, and you can get it in percussion and flintlock depending on what tickles your fancy. Besides the rubber butt pad, there's nothing modern about the Deerstalker, and that's what makes her so amazing. It's capable of hunting deer, elk, and if you're a good shot, even moose with dead accuracy. The quality is stellar, with no unnecessary additions to complicate matters. If you're going to pick up any kind of muzzleloader, this is the model you need to go for. It's quite literally made with the same blueprint as they were 100 years ago, and for $500 a pop, there's nothing to complain about. The price is ridiculously good for the kind of quality that you're getting. Has it got whistles and cogs? Nope. But that's where the magic lies. Durable, long-lasting, and with as much variation as you could want. When you really get down to business, a gun is a gun. No matter what you get, it'll shoot a bullet. What really matters is how you care for your weapon and how long it'll serve you when things go south in the world. Muzzleloaders are by far the most practical weapon to get when you really sit down and take the worst-case scenario into account. We'd advise everyone to go out and give them a try anyway. There's nothing more satisfying than packing your own rifle and feeling that click of the cockback. Handling a weapon this personally brings out a love for firearms that you didn't know you had. Seriously, you might just discover that you have an obsessive adoration for the older models once you've actually got to work with them. We understand why our ultimate survivalist heroes have such a deep respect for their firearm. It might have started with the necessity to put food on the table, but it's ended in a very deep respect for quality and expertise. Don't let ignorance be the reason you die out there. Learn everything you can, or at least go out to the range a few times and learn the basics so that you don't become a deer in headlights when shit hits the fan. This is Threat to Survival. Prepare today, thrive tomorrow. Embrace the threat to survival.